Hi, I'm Dave Koss, and I wanted to talk a little bit about a countdown I designed. I had a lot of fun designing it for Thomas Nelson live events. I wanted to put something on each screen during this concert for the countdown and do some fun little animations with it to get the crowd excited before the show started. There are 4 screens, 4 playback sources routed from the switcher, remotely triggered by the switcher. And time code was actually run to the lighting console, so we had accurate lighting to go with it, and stereo sound for the little pieces like the rocket ship going by or the fireworks going off. We started with a design concept, and I had to match the style sheet provided by the client. So I came up with some still frame concepts and came up with some initial concepts: smoke, fireworks, rockets, pinball, electricity, and then a little transition into the intro. So I designed the clock using some looping numbers and had to do base 6, which was kind of interesting to do. It's always kind of interesting to do. And I made it loopable so I could save on render time a little bit. And all 4 screens were actually designed in the same 3D environment so that the reflections and light would be accurate across all screens at the same time. So if something happened on one screen, you'd see it happen, see like the light and reflections from it on another screen. I sent low-res renders to the client to kind of explain the concept, and after everything was approved, I started to add final touches like environment, layers, and effects and stuff like that. And then at the end, I had to kind of transition into a pre-produced intro video that somebody else made, so I had to kind of come up with a transition for that. And then the final revisions were rendered. Scott Moore, who's a production manager and the stage designer, made some wonderful stage renderings, and you can see them here. I imported them into Cinema 4D and into After Effects, and I masked the LED wall and added the final renders into the actual stage design that he had. And then I made a video and started adding production notes on the bottom and added minor lighting effects just to kind of show an example of what it would look like, and even created an original score and added stereo sound effects and all of that, and even for the mock-up added fake audience with a 10 count. Then for programming with Tony Fransen. He was kind enough to stay up late with me and work out some of the lighting effects. You can see the clock in some of these shots. I think we were up pretty late that night. I created a rundown of all the timecode cues, and Tony started to create each lighting cue one at a time. Then each cue was matched with the exact video timecode. We ran videos back and forth from the actual playback was backstage, so we used VNC and ran it back and forth to test each cue. And the timecode from the video would trigger each lighting cue. Tony, at one point, for the smoke section, had the idea to cue foggers along with the smoke cue, which was great. That worked awesome. And after finishing the cues, we played it all back to make sure everything worked. You can see in the bottom right corner, it's about 3:30 in the morning at this point.
Awesome.
So then it was time for the show, and we ran it, and everybody seemed to like it. There's a 10-minute and a 5-minute call built into the video.
The show will be starting in 5 minutes, and the lights will be dimming. For your safety, please find your seats. As a courtesy to others, please put your cell phones in the off or silent position.
playback devices are cued with the push of one button from the switcher. The director on the show, Patrick Eaton, had all the playback devices set up so he could hit one button on the switcher and it would start the playback. So right here, you can see the smoke, and you can see the foggers going off there. So we got down to threes. You can see the fireworks going off, and we've got stereo sound, so you can hear it going off on whatever side of the stage the firework is on. And there's a rocket, which is also stereo. And the pinball, which is my favorite, bounces up and goes back and forth, and we did this little tilt thing with the stage. Then once we got to the end, there's electricity, and then some crazy light stuff, and then the transition into the intro video. And that's pretty much how we pulled that off.